with Håkon.
Hello.
And hey, and I think we want to show something like very simple today, but also really, really important and useful to many of the people or developers watching and using Crystallize out there, right, Håkon? I mean, at least I've heard that quite a few times. And finally, we're going to do something live following these examples that you have built.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to say a few words because I don't want to go on and on introducing stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I guess the problem that many people face is that when you've constructed a tenant, populated with tons of shapes, there's content, and you're happy with how it looks, you might want to either do a backup of the tenant or introduce a a dev environment, something like that. Then so this is what we're supposed to talk about today: the ability to pull down all the data and structure from a tenant and use that to populate a new tenant. Giving you two equal tenants to play with in the end, which is a two-part thing. The first thing is to look at your source tenant and creating a specification for that tenant, and the last part is using that specification to bootstrap a new tenant. So I was hoping I could share some of my browser tabs that I've got open. Photos.
Yeah,
see
for
if
sure.
I can do that.
Just go ahead and I'll share the focus, or switch focus.
Yeah,
on the screen. But I think like one thing to mention here is that we essentially use Crystallize API to do that. We're not using some sort of any internal packages or any kind of secret things. Basically, it's essentially just open source code that will just give you like we normally try to do, what we usually try to do. And of course, you can enhance it, or well, not enhance it, but maybe if you want to change a few things there, you can do so. So yeah, then just switch to focus. Yeah, there we go. So you should see your screen here.
Yeah, cool. So the open source tool that we use for pulling out data from Crystallize and pushing it back up to a tenant, it's called the import utilities, which is available on GitHub. Again, so most of you might see this in npm. I guess here, this is where you would probably find it. And the way that you use this is that you have to install this package locally and use the exported utility functions from that to do the things that you want to do. So what I could show you, I guess, is some examples. We could start off quickly by how do you back up a tenant, for instance. That's not the subject of this live stream, but it's kind of partly what we're doing. So backing up a tenant is sort of step one if you want to duplicate. Step one is really just creating a JSON spec from a tenant. You can see that I navigated within the examples repository, which is no. GitHub, come on. This is all the current examples we have right now. You can browse. You can find the ones that you that are relevant to you. These are really just examples for how to use the import utilities to do certain things, like adding images to components, or selection component, or export to a CSV file, or so on and so forth. But the most basic example for creating a backup is really just creating a JSON spec. And if you check out this index.ts file here, you'll see what you need to do in order to do so. Essentially, what you need to do is first create a pair of access tokens, which I think we've done in a live stream in the past.
In a few live streamers, I guess.
So we're not going to do that today. I'm going to use pre-existing ones. And after that, it is finding out your tenant identifier and setting that in the context, and then telling it to create a specification from whatever tenant you have. And then sort of you can specify what you want in that spec. And you can, yeah, you can turn on and off these different things, but you would typically want it all. But if you didn't want to have stuff like, yeah, I not really care about grids, you can turn that off and you won't get that. So this spec looks like, if I go back to import utilities, it looks like this. It's a really simple JSON file with a simple structure. So all the tenant languages will go here, and all the VAT types go here, passwords, and so on and so forth. So you can manually compose a script, I'm sorry, a spec yourself, but I think that's a subject for another live stream. So for now, let's look at the examples repository and see how you can duplicate a tenant. If I go to this index.ts file, you can see that, well, I can scroll down to the bottom. You see there's actually, first step is creating a spec. Second step is import that spec to a tenant. That's pretty much it. And the creation of the spec is really just the first example we looked at earlier. Setting some access tokens, setting a tenant ID, defining what you want from the tenant, and then that's it. Allow the bootstrapper to create a spec, which typically takes, depending on the size of your tenant, of course, but it takes between 1 and 10 seconds to do. If you have lots and lots of items and products, it might take longer, but this is typically a really fast process to do. So it will pull down all the data, and which includes all the content. If you have items with rich text content, for instance, images and videos and stuff like that. And the second step here is then using the spec. There we go. Here, setting that spec here, I'm hoping I can make it zoom in a little bit so people see better. Telling the bootstrapper to use the spec and then start it. And you'll see, if you look at the code, that like the way that this works is that you don't really know. I mean, you see this as an async function, so it will wait until everything's imported. But it's the way that this works is that in order for you to know when it's done, you have to listen for subscribe to events that the bootstrapper emits. So this will take your spec, and it will slowly, or not slowly is a bad word, it's actually quite fast. It will work through all the data as fast as it can, and then tell you in the end when it's done. So I was thinking we might run this. Look, I could share. Let me see if I got the repository open here. I do. Let's see. Let me just share something else. There we go.
Nice. So great. Let's re-invite Håkon in as he stops sharing video. So yeah, that doesn't work like that, but yeah.
Okay. A minor setback. Let's go back to what I wanted to
typical live stream problems. Yeah.
Some poorly designed UI. All right. So so you should be seeing the repositories now. As you can see, this is the entire examples repository. And I'm in the duplicate tenant. So I just need to know, well, I'm actually in that. Yeah. So what you need to do is obviously install dependencies, which I've already done, and then finding a source tenant. Mm-hmm. And I want to use,
maybe Håkon, you can zoom in here a little bit just to have you have your screen vertical, I guess, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this is better.
Yeah.
So this is the source tenant, and the target tenant. Well, I haven't actually created the target tenant, so maybe we'll do that as well. You know what? Maybe I'll try again. To share something else.
Yep.
I don't know where to click. Can you
stop sharing button somewhere?
Oh, there it is. I thought,
yeah.
Good.
Beautiful.
Good. All right. So, right. So first of all, the teddy bear shop. So you want to typically target a tenant that you own. You might want to add, include stuff like static tokens or access tokens if, static token if you protected your APIs with a static token in order to pull the data from them. But yeah, you want to create a tenant. You want to sort of put this data somewhere. So I'm going to make a new teddy bear shop. Bear shop clone 2. Apparently, I did this before. So this is the identifier that I want. I can create it. I can even go down here and select this clone, which is currently empty. There's nothing here. No topics, there are no grids. Shapes are like the standard ones. Yeah, so it's empty. So if I now go back to code here, so I now have a target. So looking at the state now, I think all that's left for us to do is to run the script. Access tokens obviously needs to be available in the process env. So you can either pass that on the command line, like Crystallize access token ID, and then blah, 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 and then run your script. But I've got them ready on the environment right now, so I don't need to do so. So all I do now is yarn start. And so the thing that I expect to see is actually lots of status updates, which you can listen to or not if you want to, but this gives you back the status of the import, because pulling down the data takes no time really, but then pushing that up to the new tenant takes a bit of time because you need to transfer all the media assets, for instance, and then that depends on your current internet connection. So let's start this, and I expect to see, let's see here, a representation of the progress of the import to the tenant. Now, when you see this, this means that the backup of your tenant, that the export is already done, and now you'll see the import is working. The media, are uploaded. The shapes are done. Grids are done. It's now working on the items. So it's about 40% done with the items, and then all the rest are done. So when this hits 1, the script should be finished. It doesn't take
Is there something that the script does not take into consideration from the tenant?
Yes, there's a few things. Order pipelines, for instance, it does not transfer the pipelines as of yet. We will probably add that too. The same goes for orders and customers, which are not transferred at the moment. These are also things that we might want to do later, but we don't have support for that at the moment.
Yeah, so primarily we focus on currently, at least in content and all the product information and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. All right, so this took about 40 seconds to do. I want to share how the tenant looks like again. So this is the clone. Let's see, I'm at the clone 2. If I refresh the page, we'll see that, I've got some content now. There's a teddy bears folder, some products with some images, got the attributes for pricing, the stock, and you got to see the rich text is coming along well fine. The same goes for topics. I guess grids as well. Yeah, there are grids as well. Although there are no items here. So, and you can see obviously also all that you need for the structure is here. So we're also, now looking at the UI. See, currently subscription plans are not included, but they will be, of course, soon. So that's pretty much how you do this. And we can talk about a lot of the details of how to do the migration, not the migration, but how to do the exporting and how to do the importing, because there are some considerations that you need to think about when importing data to a tenant, especially if the tenant has data already, like this one. If you want to run the script again, pulling the data from the teddy bear shop and populating this tenant again, well, it's actually going to fail now for a lot of the items because, well, you're pulling, you're trying to add the same products again, and we don't allow
reusable SKUs, basically.
The use multiple times. So SKUs are unique. So like for the the exercise, I guess I can show how that would look because it's not a bug in the tool. This is simply something that you'd have to figure out a good strategy for. Let me just show you.
So basically run an update or something if someone wants to.
Yeah, exactly. So I can do your start again, and we'll see now that the script will give us back a few warnings quite fast. Let's see. Here we go. It's doing media soon. There are items. I'm expecting to see some errors soon now. I didn't test this before. Yeah, here we go. Well, there were some errors here. Price, reference input. There's some. Let's go here. Yeah, and you see. Okay, this is actually a different bug. But the point is, if the script ever occurs some kind of error, it's going to give back the actual mutation it tried to do and tell you the error that happened. And most of the time, this is because, well, you're doing things like updating or trying to update a product that but you need some references to products already. I guess I think I want to quickly share that particular part because I think it's quite important. So here, for instance, we have a different one with a product import. I know the stream is about duplicating tenants. I want to quickly show this because in order for you to actually be updating a product, you need to give it a reference of some sort, so you know which ones to update. Because names are translatable, they're different for different languages. They're not a hard reference to the product itself. So what you typically need to do is to provide an external reference here and something unique, something that lets the script know which product are you actually targeting here. And with that, it's good to go. Yeah. So what do you think, Stavros? I know you've been talking to a lot of people that wants to do duplicating tenants, but I think we should cover the details more in depth in a different stream. This is what you need as a basic to get going, and we can do go more in depth later.
Yeah, for sure. I think that at least this covers up a lot of cases that people, like you said in the beginning, they either want to essentially have a second tenant to work with, or they want, they have set up their development, so they have set up their website, and now they want to create something in production, so they have like a clean tenant with exactly what they have now, with exactly what they have set up, without necessarily the orders and the customers that they use to test, right? So this serves this purpose. I think it's really solid. And yeah, we're waiting for feedback from you guys. If you have something you need, you have any idea or somehow that we can work with and get that to the next level. Like Hagon said, orders can come in later, pipelines, and I guess subscription plans and so on and so forth. But I think this serves the purpose for now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this covers it. For you guys that want to test it out, I have exactly the code that Håkon showed linked in the description down below. So you should have access to both the utilities and the examples in GitHub. So go ahead and look for that, and of course use it as you like. I think that's pretty much it, Håkon, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting some feedback and adding some more cool features on this.
Awesome. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you, Håkon, for the presentation. A really cool tool there. So yeah, certainly, guys, give it a try, especially if you're looking to create multiple environments to work with, and let us know for any feedback, both here and the community Slack. Always happy to hear that. So thanks so much for joining, and we'll hopefully see you in the next one as well.